start streaming that show. that hot jam.
Yeah.
All the kids,
kids
out there.
love it.
Yeah. We should be online.
My God.
I'm done now.
You're a horrible person.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
Oh, hey, I got 2 YouTube notifications. I wonder what the other one was.
Ooh. Drew notification.
I don't see anything yet.
I do.
There it is.
I got a live chat.
Copy
See,
that.
I started Bane voice. Now I can't stop. That's what happens. Reckoning. Gotham's reckoning.
I appreciate that you guys have cool backgrounds, and here I am. I'm like, yep.
Well, until this week, I didn't have a cool background, so.
It's true. It was BJ and I showing off, and now he joined. So next week,
Yeah.
maybe you.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I'll.
Well, no, because you have to move.
Maybe
your
I'll
PC.
actually hop on the good Mac next time.
Hop on the good Mac.
But no, I like my crappy Mac. Crap.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah, something like that.
I get it.
So, how was everybody's weekends?
It's almost the weekend.
I mean, it's.
Is it? I don't know what day it is.
It's practically
Yeah.
the same. Well, I mean, I'm saying this as somebody working, and it's still kind of the same as the weekday. I mean, when you don't go anywhere, it's. I mean, other than sitting in front of a computer and working.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Working.
I mean, I don't actually mean. I don't mean that like an actual real air quotes thing because I am doing shit. I just meant
Yeah,
like,
you're the only one who's working.
right. I mean, it's like working because I'm sitting in a couch and I'm rather comfortable. You know, just happen to be doing work. I'm a lot more comfortable than sitting under fluorescent lights and all the bullshit of being in an office. This is why I mean, for the most part, other than like human interaction and going somewhere else, like I'm baffled by the people who are like, oh, I can't wait till we return to the office. It's like,
Oh
fucking
God, those
why?
people are going to ruin it for all of
Like,
us.
I mean, well, I don't mean like they're in a hurry. Just like, I just want to be back. Like, not tomorrow. Like, just bemoaning like I'm not in the office, and it's like, why?
No, this is the dream.
Yeah,
Don't
exactly.
ruin it for the rest of us.
That's what I'm trying to say. It's like, other than variety of being somewhere else, this is kind of fucking awesome. Like,
I mean, I would like to be back in the office.
well, you
different
see what I'm saying,
circumstance,
right?
Chuck.
Like,
Yes, I understand.
working versus not working is one thing. I'm saying like
Uh-huh.
being in an office. It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can work from home and not have to wear pants, then I mean, Christ, what the...
Yeah, film at 11.
Yeah.
I mean, I've not worn anything longer than shorts in like 4 weeks, and it's the best. Like,
I did for that interview on Monday, and it felt weird.
yeah.
I've been wearing shorts since you were in short pants. I'm saying I've been doing it long. I've been at home, like wearing shorts. That's
that
what I
was an
meant.
actual
Yeah,
statement.
yeah.
You just made it sound. Just made it sound awful.
Short pants.
Trebek.
Yeah. No, I think that was actually that was in fucking The Rock, right? Doesn't he say that since you were in short pants? I believe that's how he phrases it.
Mm-hmm.
I only remember one line from The Rock.
The winners get to go home
Yes.
and fuck the prom queen. Yeah, no, I'm
That
pretty
is
sure.
the only
Like
one
he
I
also
actually remember.
pretty sure he puts him down somehow. Like if it's not The Rock, it's another Connery thing. Like I've been doing this since you were in short pants.
Short pants.
Yeah. Yeah. So I applied for that job Wednesday. They called me for an interview Thursday. I scheduled the interview for Monday. And then they emailed me back Wednesday and said, hey, can you do the follow-up second interview tomorrow? And I was like, if I do that, they might want me to start Tuesday. So I'm like, no, let's do Tuesday. Let's meet on Tuesday. So I can get an extra week of laying on my couch doing nothing.
I applaud your effort, but I'm pretty sure that's not how the Solomon Grundy poem goes.
I know. I know. Yeah. But yeah, and then I went on LinkedIn and it said over 200 applicants. So I was like, This is probably a good sign, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I might have a job.
Man, you'll have to tell me what that's like.
It's like living the dream and the nightmare at the same time.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, that's life. That's life. What a world.
I'm kind of enjoying this life, but I also know that like looking at the jobs I'm applying for, fucking 200 people applying for them.
Yeah.
And I know like, and you think about it, even if you weed out 90% that are just like, I have to file 5 things, even then it's still competing with 20 other people who are probably close to as qualified as I am. So I need to not take my chances. So
that makes sense.
because it was very tempting to be like, I could ride out these 13 weeks, or at least until they stop doing that $600 a week payment. But then who knows how long it would be after that.
Yeah, word is they're going to cut it back early.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, good thing they gave all those corporate tax breaks last year, huh?
Uh-huh, yeah.
Yeah. Imagine what those could have paid for. No, we don't have to imagine. We know exactly what they would pay for.
They paid for stocks.
They would pay for my maple old fashioned.
Oh.
But not anymore. Those days are done, Chuck. Buying lobster on food stamps? Absolutely not. Not happening anymore. There's no way you can get 20 lobsters on food stamps anymore.
Not in my backyard.
Yeah.
Do you have lobsters in your backyard?
Yeah, it's weird.
Oh.
I guess I should probably like wrangle them and sell them.
You're my main man.
Chuck, those are scorpions. Sorry.
Oh.
Sir, that's a Wendy's.
Oh, they're so stingy. Why are they?
I didn't know lobsters had these long tails. I thought they were bigger too.
Yeah, these are hard to eat.
This roll's really crunchy.
It's like some Temple of Doom shit.
They get extra angry when you try to drop them in the boiling water.
Yeah. They just disintegrate. What's up with that? How do people eat this? You can't put butter on this.
When there was no lobster, we ate scorpions. When there was no scorpions, we ate sand.
You ate sand?
We ate sand.
Oh, man. So, hey, Empire Strikes Back's 40 years old today.
Whoa.
That's a pretty good movie.
Man. Do I feel
Too
old?
bad that's a bad movie.
Do I feel
I've
old?
heard.
Whoa. So old.
Wow.
So old I can't even go into the queef anymore on command.
Well, that's a statement.
Yeah, I know. I have to warm up to the queef. It's not an immediate thing anymore.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's queefus.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
you guys watched that movie. I did not.
Yeah.
So I will kind of participate however I can.
We'll talk about it very briefly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got other things to discuss.
Not worth the time.
No, just that we don't want to sit here and spoil a movie for you that you should probably watch.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your keyword search made me go, probably not.
Oh, no, that's not related to John Henry.
Oh, I thought it was.
No.
I actually thought that too,
what
and I kind of forgot about it, and then and now I'm like, wait, what?
No, that was for something much later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, what movie was that for?
Oh, we can talk about it.
Okay.
Huh.
All right.
Shall we then?
Yeah, I have a TV show. Well, 2 of them.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
I got a few movies.
Good. Movies are good.
Yeah.
And of course, Chuck, last week of Last Dance, you won't have to hear us talk about it again.
I enjoy hearing about it. It has made me want to watch it. So,
Aside from they're making a Tom Brady one next, and nobody cares except people in Boston.
ew.
Everyone else is like, I got news for you. Tom Brady is boring as fuck.
I saw that the WWE was trying to capitalize on this and do like the Undertaker documentary long form thing.
Really?
It's called The Last Ride.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I know the guy who made Last Dance also made the Andre the Giant one, which I still haven't seen, but everyone
Oh,
says is
okay.
like super good.
Was that the 30 for 30 thing?
It was that, or it was an HBO thing. I can't remember now. I think it might have been on HBO actually.
You might be right. Yeah.
But I mean, it was just a standard like 2-hour deal, not like one of these, 10-hour
Right.
OJ Made in America type things.
Right.
So anyway, nobody's watching but us. So let's do it, right?
Let's do it.
Oh, is that true?
Welcome to the internet.
Oh shit. Yeah, wow. I looked at the stats. Never look at
Never
the stats.
look at the stats.
Yeah.
You can look at the chats, but you can't look at the stats.
BJ's not here, so
Oh yeah, mouth sounds.
slurp it up. Somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me.
Yeah. Gargle it for it. Switch it around. I got something stuck in my teeth. Hang on.
Or ribs. I had ribs for lunch.
Well, that was the thing when I was editing like the Futurama podcast of myself. I was just like, oh my God, lip smacks. They're all the fucking time. What the shit?
Mm-hmm.
Are you usually taking those out, or are you just like, is there like a thing that just automatically at this point?
No, I mean we've gotten
Drops
pretty
them.
good at it in the studio, where we lube up so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
At home,
Yeah, it's not as good.
it's
It's
just
this mic is super sensitive, is what I
yeah.
realized.
There's so much other little like I had to switch chairs because the chair I was sitting in was super creaky, and there was no way to edit that out.
Yeah.
And I was like, I have to let some of this stuff go. People will
Yeah.
understand. We're not in the studio.
Jen actually had to get a new chair in the office because her like she couldn't move during meetings, and when you have like an hour-long meeting, yeah, she was not. So we bit the bullet, got a new chair, and we got one with the rollerblade wheels on the bottom.
Heard about that.
I will be getting chairs with rollerblade wheels on the bottom.
Oh,
New job.
We can live
New-
stream.
Hey, Bill.
I'm gonna be skitching in the
New
office.
job. I'm just gonna be like, I'm spending the $40. Give me those rollerblade wheels, and I'm taking them with me when you fire me, unceremoniously, on a Wednesday morning.
Yeah.
Fucking reason.
All right.
So podcast.
Podcasts.
Podcast.
All right, welcome to the Bamfcast Variety Hour episode
Bamfcast Course
something.
Variety Hour.
Yeah,
Hey.
I don't know. Numbers no longer mean anything, and this
7.
is just 7. Okay, fine. Variety Hour 7.
7.
I don't have my handy dandy I'm doing the graphics and stuff to remind me what episode we're on and whatnot. So anyway, I am Harlow.
I'm Mackie.
I'm Chuck.
Yeah,
Time out.
time out.
What?
Yeah. Mackie, are you recording?
Yes.
Okay. I forgot to do the check.
Are
Okay.
you not? Were you? Do I need to start over?
No, I'm good.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
good.
Okay.
All right.
What did I say
So,
last? Oh, right.
We all
So,
have
yeah,
introduced
yeah.
ourselves.
So, we're not doing our normal thing that we normally do. We're just doing a quarantine variety hour thing. We have homework movies. Sometimes we get to watch them. Sometimes we don't. It's not required homework. The teacher doesn't mark us absent or, belittle us in front of the class or something. But
Yeah, we don't
Mackie,
check
no,
minus.
but no, I'm kidding. We decided this week's homework movie was John Henry, which just recently popped up on Netflix. It's not a Netflix movie, I don't believe. It's just
It's a 2020 release that
just immediately went to Netflix because it was
it's
like
just now on Netflix.
you should probably see this. Like, how else are you going to?
Yeah.
Can't go anywhere. But yeah, I think we kind of caught the trailer for this not that long ago. It feels like, and then all of a sudden it was like, here it is, and you should watch it.
Yeah.
But it's Terry Crews playing the titular John Henry, and Ludacris is in it, and then that's kind of it for big name people.
Well, for us, Ken Foray is in this.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I know him.
Yeah.
I don't. Should I know him? Who is that?
He's in Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
I don't. Oh, okay,
He's a cool dude.
all right.
Yeah. I'm just fucking with you.
He's a cool dude in this too.
Yeah,
But
just
no,
not my
he's
forte.
But no, he's in Dawn of the Dead.
Okay.
You should watch that.
But
Yeah, you should watch Dawn of the Dead.
It's the Romero one. It's pretty good.
yeah, I've only ever seen the remake, right? Because that's what Zack Snyder
Wait,
did,
seriously?
right? Yeah,
Yes.
that's what that Zack Snyder did, right? I couldn't remember which one he made another one of. It was Dawn of the Dead, right?
No,
But
he remade Dawn of the Dead.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
I will go to bat for that version too.
Okay,
Like,
I do too.
I love that movie too. But
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
both those movies are good.
okay.
the original I think is better, but
Okay, I think I tried to watch it at one point in time, and it was like
It's slow.
well, no, it was like an overly worn VHS, like back in those days, and it was like I'm
Oh.
not even gonna watch this because it was like it couldn't track, you know.
If you want to borrow my DVD, I will loan that out though.
I'm sure it's
Because I trust
it's probably
you.
on
There are very
systems.
few people I would trust with that set, considering you basically can't get it anymore. And
Oh,
God
that
only
Anchor Bay
knows.
set.
The one with like 3 discs.
Yeah.
And it's in the black case. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's probably on. It's an old enough kind of close. I mean, the original one's like basically public domain, right? So I mean, I don't know about the second
Yes.
one, but yeah,
Night of the Living Dead. Yeah, because they didn't file things correctly, so
Yeah.
it like immediately went into public domain. So
Right.
there's been a bunch of like people. There was one release, like I want to say it was in '98 when DVD first started, where they were like, "We're gonna do all new sound effects."
Oh,
so
right.
they'd have like the old dialogue, and then all of a sudden they'd have like crystal clear hammer hitting something. It's like, oh my god, people.
Yeah, it was like, check out this new 5.1 track, and it's like,
And
oh
they added
God.
footage too. Like they added zombies in. Like and it was just like, oh my God. Like it was like if we like literally us went out and filmed black and white footage and then tried to insert it into Night of the Living Dead. It was like one
Yeah.
of the worst DVDs of all time.
They did a 3D conversion of it. They've
yeah.
they've done a lot of things to it. But
Yeah.
anyway,
yeah,
Its corpse has been violated many a time at this point.
yes,
sure,
yeah,
yeah. But anyway, we're talking about John Henry.
Anyway,
I
John
think.
Henry.
Yeah, John
yeah,
Henry.
John Henry.
That guy.
Yeah. Anyway, that's what we're talking about. Okay, so we're going to be kind of vague about this because Mackie hasn't seen it. I think the easy consensus, if you want to know absolutely nothing about it, is I think it sounds like we would both say watch it.
I definitely would.
Okay,
I think I am probably in the minority on this just from poking around a bit, but I really liked it. I liked it a lot, even though it's messy. Like there is
Yeah.
some.
It's a little messy, but it's like I really appreciate what it's trying to do. Like it's
Okay,
It's
yes.
well, it's one of those things. It's sort of like the bonus ones for the Patreon ones. Like I know this never syncs up, so I will reference them sometimes. And if you're not a Patreon member, you're gonna like hear this maybe 6-8 months away. But we recently just watched a movie called Bushwick on Bamfcast Extra, and it's like there's problems with that movie, but I really appreciate that it was trying. It wasn't just like, well, here we go, another Soviet bloc like cheap place to film thing. Let's do this.
Right.
Not that they did that. I'm just like so many movies like that would be like, let's just go to a place and try minimal effort, and we'll wrangle in a star or two, and make a couple bucks. But this was I appreciate movies that are like have something they're trying to do, and this one is one of them.
Yeah, this movie's definitely trying to do something. It
Yeah.
is, man, it's like a weird 90s throwback with like hints of early Tarantino in it, but also some Spike Lee stuff. It's
It's a first time writer and director, which is interesting.
is it? I didn't
Yeah.
look. Okay.
Yep.
Good on him. That guy
Yeah.
that guy had a vision, and for the most part I think he realized it. There are some, I don't know if I want to call them like flights of fancy, but just some self-indulgent kind of things I think that could have. There's just one thing they keep going back to, which is this old VHS tape that's kind of explaining some of the backstory, and I think they go to that well one too many times.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't think
One
it, I
scene
don't
in-
think it I don't think it adds too much to it, really. That's
no, it
the
gives
thing.
you a little bit of perspective into a couple of things, and because the movie doesn't really explain a lot, kind of explains a couple of things, but it goes back to it a couple of times. You're like, all right, I got this. I
Mhm.
don't need that. Also, the movie kind of makes you do a lot of work. Like you kind of have to fill in the motivations yourself for a lot of things, where I think the movie could have been more manipulative, if that makes sense. Like the bad guy is certainly a bad guy, and you want him to be dealt with, but I think they could have done more to really make him seem more than he was.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like it was limited availability on Ludacris or something, because it actually feels like, or maybe
He's barely in it.
well, yeah, he's not in it a lot, and I mean he does have some crazy prosthetic stuff going on, so it might have just been like, you got me for 2 days with this shit on, sort of
Right.
thing. Like I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
You put this shit on my face. You're not taking it off till I'm done filming.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would take it a step further. And now that you tell me this is a first-time filmmaker, I'm very curious, is this a young person, or is it like someone who just finally got there? Like, I mean, like that's I'm kind of curious, because it's like,
IMDb has nothing about
Okay.
him.
Well,
Will Forbes is his name.
I have a theory, and obviously this is a theory
No
because
trivia,
I
no
don't
nothing
know
about
his age or anything about him, but it feels like to me, because you say it kind of feels like that 90s throwback Tarantino thing, but like we've gone well past that, into like that doesn't seem like I'm actually curious if it's like it's actually someone who is like our age and grew up watching that and was like, one day I'm going to make one of those, or if it's like we've now reached where it's like a 24-year-old who is like, this is film history, like Tarantino
I
trying to
want to
make
make one of those.
like trying to make Grindhouse and Shaw Brothers things. It's like
Yeah.
it's like now this is like, are we? Because it feels like it might have that level of like, it does feel like it might be a youngster, like now it's like you're copying a thing that was a copy of a thing, like maybe that's why it feels a little washed out, like to use a VHS metaphor. But
if this is a first-time filmmaker, there is a lot of discipline here.
Oh,
like
absolutely.
This guy
not a knock, yeah. I'm just saying
knew exactly what he wanted and went for it, and it's interesting in that regard. I really just think structurally it just either needed a couple more things or needed a couple of things taken out of it to streamline it a bit to really make it something special. I think it's I called it sort of like a terrific mess because it is kind of messy, but man, it's one of those things where it's just like you can see the camera start to move and do a certain thing, and if you're into like the art of filmmaking, you're like, oh yeah, okay, this guy, okay, there's something cool happening here. This guy knows what he's doing, and that's that. I like feeling like that. I haven't felt like that in a while. Like usually it's just all right, put the camera on a thing and go. And there are some interesting transitions and things in here that I'm really impressed with the filmmaking of it. So the reason I kind of said it was a Tarantino throwback thing, like early on, characters get monologues as the camera's going around a table, and I'm like, oh, okay, I've seen Reservoir Dogs, that's very reminiscent of that. And then there's another scene late in the film with a couple of guys who are guarding a street, and they're just sitting in a van having a conversation. This conversation goes on for like 5 minutes, and it has no bearing on anything. It's funny as shit, and it ends well. But you're also like, the movie sort of grinds to a halt at that point. And you're like, wait, why is it? What's happening here? Why is it?
Yeah, who are these people?
Open mic
like,
night?
Yeah.
Why is it just two guys doing shtick? Like, what's happening here?
Yeah.
But then things happen. It's violent. It's loud. It is a loud ass movie. The soundtrack is amazing. Oh my god, the soundtrack is amazing. Yeah, it's. I mean, I was not expecting this.
I have a question.
Okay.
It is John Henry. Is it kind of like one of those weird, very loosely based on the John Henry story?
No,
or is it just
not really.
like, no, we like the name?
No, I mean,
so...
no. I mean, because like, not what he does isn't even remotely close. I mean, they make references to like certain things, not necessarily even like the original story, but more like the song about John Henry.
Yeah, it's okay. The dad heard the folk song and named his kid that, and he has a hammer.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
All right, so it's not like none of that's like, not that we're thinly veiled, we're doing the same thing in a modern setting type. None of that. Okay.
I mean, other than like, hammer stuff. That's about it.
Yes. It is hammer time at certain points in the film.
The still image of the trailer has him dragging a sledgehammer with him, as does the poster. So.
Oh, speaking of total side thing, I was flipping through Netflix looking for something else, and you know how when you do a search and you sometimes get the different thumbnails than you do like when you're just looking through the little box cover view. Do something where you get Kickbox, or no, I'm not sorry, not Kickbox, or Bloodsport in that list. Like look up Jean-Claude or just look up Bloodsport, because they use the perfect. They use the screenshot you need to use for Bloodsport. You know exactly what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was just like, I looked up something and I was like, you might also like Bloodsport. And I was like, yes, that's your screenshot. Anyway.
You're goddamn right.
Anyway.
I will say, okay, so had we not been doing this, I might have said, let's watch this for a Bamcast movie, because just by the trailer and what it was going to be. I'm glad we didn't, because this would have been the first Bamcast movie where I would have gotten emotional at the end of the movie, because I wasn't a wreck at the end of this, but it like touched me. Like it was an affecting ending, to where I was like, oh wow. So I would not have wanted to be in the studio with you assholes.
You never know, Chuck. Some of us have been in a vulnerable place. 2020 has been a rough year for all of us.
Yeah.
Could be that.
I mean, remember the days that we could have group hugged? Or is it group hugged? Grouped
I do.
hug?
Group
No.
group hug.
I'm saying we
Not
could
anymore.
have. We could have, and we didn't.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah,
like
a job
we're like
interview on
the
Monday. The lady went for the handshake, and I was like, "No, ma'am.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
No.
Is this a test? No.
Unfortunately, we're the
Yeah.
grasshopper. Everyone else was the ants. They were getting their group
Yeah.
hug on, and we're just like, nah, we group hug whenever, and then not anymore.
Anyway, yeah, you should see John Henry.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
Especially now that it's just there on Netflix, and
Yeah, I'll try to make time for it in the next week or two.
my Discord warning was specifically for you, Mackie.
yeah. I mean, I think it's safe to say because we have said it before, and it's
It's
also
not
like
one to watch with Jen.
it's also in the first like 2 minutes of the movie.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like but like a dog dies. Yeah.
yeah.
Not-
That was
what
off
is it with-
screen.
Not in like a.
What is it with dudes named John and their dogs?
This is not a killing. Like it's just it's. I mean it's aggressive, but it's not like someone was like, I'm gonna murder your dog to get back
Yeah,
at you.
it's kind of related to the movie, but also not.
Yeah.
It's not like it's the motivating factor for him to pick up a sledgehammer and start murdering fools.
Right.
But it might start him down a path of I don't give a shit anymore.
Mhm.
And man, holy God, his dad. I wish BJ was here and had seen the movie because the dude's name is BJ. He has some great lines. Holy shit.
I'll talk BJ into watching it before next week. So
Good.
he and I can do that part, and then
Okay.
you guys can kind of try and be like, "Yeah, John Henry."
Yeah,
Okay.
that'll be good.
And also
So
be-
definitely
it'll-
watch
Definitely
John
gets the thumbs up. I
Yeah.
should watch it.
well, we'll see because I mean, like this is a one-time viewing, and we'll see how much stuck in my brain by next week.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's always a good test of like, does the movie
Well,
stick with
yeah,
you?
but how many Bamcast movies have we done that are like that?
Well, sure, but I mean, like I remember the good ones. I'm saying there's so many where it's like I will forget this as soon as we stop recording. Like
Yep.
I'm curious, like I said, what I retain from John Henry a week from now.
Yeah, that'll be fun for us.
So anyway,
Yeah.
moving on.
Yeah. I've got something Netflix related.
Oh, let's
I
hear it.
watched another 2020 movie on Netflix.
Oh,
I did.
Do
I
tell.
I watched the new Happy Madison movie.
all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Wrong Missy.
Is that the one with the girl from Jurassic World?
Yes.
What's her name?
I don't know.
Bryce Dallas Howard.
No.
Oh.
But yeah, it's a David Spade, Rob Schneider movie.
Wow.
And every single one of
Just keep selling
Adam
me, man.
Sandler's every single one of Adam Sandler's friends, his wife, his kids, it's like a Kevin Smith movie. It's like they're all in it because it's an excuse to go on a vacation. It's another one of those let's go to a resort.
And
things.
it's Lauren Lapkus, by the way.
That's who it is, yes.
Who was she in Jurassic World?
She was the tech that what's his face was always trying to hit on Jake Johnson,
Okay.
and then eventually she tells him she has a boyfriend at
Yeah.
a triumphant moment, and kind of it's a good moment.
She's basically the star of this.
She's one of those people who's good in everything she shows up in.
She's committed.
Like a lot of times she's only like in it for 5 minutes, but it's like, oh yeah, her, that's awesome. Yeah.
Well, she this is probably definitely the biggest role of her career. It's I've gone back and forth on a lot of these Netflix Adam Sandler joints. Some of them I thought have been fine, and some I thought have been god awful. This one started like 15 minutes into this. I was like, I don't know if I can finish this, and then somehow it lapped itself and became so incredibly stupid that I started laughing with it. And for the rest of the film, I was totally fine with it. I think You Don't Mess with the Zohan was like that too, where I was just like, this fucking sucks. And then like 20 minutes in, I was like, oh wait, no, that's a good joke. And then from there, it was like, okay, some of these jokes are fine, some of them suck. And
Is it kind of like Monkey Bone where it shifts and suddenly you're like when Chris Kattan shows up in Monkey Bone, you're suddenly like, okay, this is actually funny now?
it's nothing that drastic. It's just, I think once you realize what the movie is, your brain just kind of settles into it. She basically plays the most annoying person on the planet who is on a blind date with David Spade, and he's lucky to not have to go on a second date with her. And he meets someone else, a fucking volleyball model by the same name, and then it has to go on a corporate retreat and texts the wrong Missy. And so it's like, hey, meet me at Cabo or wherever the fuck they go. And then it's the crazy one who shows up, and he's like, oh God. I can't have you meet my boss. I'm up for the big promotion and blah blah blah. It's just a hackneyed, stupid story like that. But eventually, like it just becomes so ridiculous that you just can't help to go, okay, fine, whatever. I guess I was not prepared for David Spade to be like old and reserved. It doesn't seem in his nature to be like the quietest person in a movie. Not that he was always the craziest person in the movie, but still, even as like the straight man and like Tommy Boy and stuff, he was still
usually
loud.
He's sarcastic and above it, or at least his character feels like that.
He's more mumbly sarcastic in this. He's just like kind of mumbling to himself about, oh, this is terrible. These things are happening to me. So it's fine, totally fine. You could watch it. Has some really good jokes in it.
I love when you say that. You can watch it.
That's my best.
It will literally not make you go blind. You can physically watch it.
Somebody's going to show up one day stricken with sight, have their sight stricken, and be like, "You told me I could watch this, and I went blind, Chuck. Damn you!"
This won't do that. This will be fine.
Oh, okay.
You can watch this and not die.
Yeah, say that, but I mean, are there any flashing lights or anything that might possibly affect anybody?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
There's some cameos that might bother you. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I will say Adam Sandler needs to get some new friends.
Okay.
Like when they present
it. If he's going to make a movie, cast someone else.
Well, not his immediate friends, like because David Spade's totally fine and Rob Schneider's barely in it, so he's sort of okay.
That helps.
Yeah. But like when they do like, here's a surprise cameo at the end, it's like, I've seen him in 6 other Adam Sandler movies. It's not surprising at this point. You know? It's like, I get it. You're friends with that guy. Who cares? So anyway, it's on Netflix. You can watch it.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Solid.
Thanks.
I watched a couple of movies that I'd never seen, I have to admit. Not new ones. These were old. Very old, in fact, in one case.
Classics?
Yeah, I mean, debatably.
Okay.
But yes. I watched both versions of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, or at least the first two, not the 90 or so version.
I've been so close to doing that.
Yeah. I gotta say, because like this might delve into real life things that unfortunately are going to affect seeing these movies at this point in time. I will say, like, I this is going to sound contradictory because, like, I just recently said I saw The Invisible Man and I loved it, and that movie is like about some hardcore gaslighting and making a character feel absolutely awful about nobody believing him, but like maybe it's just shift a little bit more forward in time, and maybe I was also watching 2 movies back to back, but I was like, by the end of watching them, like I was like, fuck. Like, I mean, it was just like reality just like kept slapping me in the face, because it was just like, fuck, like that's a whole lot of like people running around in desperation, like, you gotta believe me. It's people. It's not people.
It can
actually
overwhelm you.
Yeah. But yeah, I all right. So just to take them one by one, I'd seen bits and pieces of the original Kevin McCarthy one, but I'd never really sat and watched it all before. So, I think like most of it is probably you probably know by this point. You know, like it's sort of like the War of the Worlds thing. It's like at some point you've seen enough that you know everything, or you've heard references to it. Like I feel like you should know what Invasion of the Body Snatchers is, kind of.
Well, if you've seen Gremlins, you're like, okay, I know what that movie is, because they're watching it at one point. You're like, oh, that's okay, that movie, yeah.
Right. But yeah, I mean, I will say that like when you actually sit and watch the entire movie, there are a couple things. I mean, what catapulted me to watching this was just random YouTube video type thing. I was browsing around, like trying to find some content creators I could stomach, and as you usually want to do on YouTube. And guy was just talking about, like, you know, communism, Red Scare, and all this stuff, and like, you know, is this movie about it? Because like the creators have gone on record saying like we didn't intend for it to be about that. It was just supposed to be a, you know, alien invasion, body snatching horror type thing, thriller. You know, if there were things that seemed like they were that, it wasn't our intention, you know, just, you know, but this guy was like, well, maybe it just crept in because it was so prevalent in the time that you couldn't help but sort of interject those ideas into it, or they're just lying and they didn't want to be blacklisted in Hollywood. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, it's just you kind of have to watch it through that lens, just with that idea of just this like, suddenly like you're the oddball, like like you wake up one day and like everybody's different, and you're like, am I paranoid? Am I like, is this real? Like and all of that. But I will say that like the movie came out in 1956. There was some extremely suggestive dialogue for a movie from 1956. Like there were a couple things I was like, damn. like there was one in particular because like the basic plot of the movie is Kevin McCarthy is a doctor, like the small town's general practitioner kind of guy, and like he's gone away for a few some kind of business trip. Like he's been gone for like a week or something like that. Meanwhile, his quasi high school sweetheart girl he always like had a crush on, like married some other dude, stayed in the town, I think, or no, she moved away for like 5 years to like go live in England or something like that. And they don't really explain it, but like her husband's dead, so she's a widow. But it's because it's the 50s. They're still like, well, she's married, and you should stay away from her. And it's like, no, dude's fucking dead. Like fair game, So like, but like, so there's like this kind of like, forbidden like courtship thing that's going on. But he's like super flirty like throughout the whole fucking movie to her. In fact, like, and the one line I was just like, damn, like for a 1956 movie is like, he says something kind of brusquely about medical or something, and she's like, oh, is that an example of like your bedside manner? He's like, no, that comes later. And I was just like, oh shit, that's like. I'm a little shocked by that line from 1956. I'm just saying, like, I've watched a lot of classic movies, and that one for that time period was like, oh, okay. But anyway, cool effects for the time. I think some very good puppetry work type stuff going on. But it's still kind of from that era of like, oh no, film acting, like, kind of zooming close-ups and things like that, where it all kind of seems a little silly by today's standards, a little bit. It's like we hadn't broke it out. There's that time period, and the reason like why early movies feel that way is we had hundreds of years of how we done things on the stage, like we have to act in the back of the room and all, all this overacting stuff, and it took a while for that to disappear.
Oh, the Lin-Manuel Miranda syndrome.
Well, I don't get it. Really don't. You got to pick somebody.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, it's just we had that for hundreds of years, so it took a long time for actors to like learn to act better for the screen, and that the camera's right in your face and stuff like that. So that's the primary reason, like from talkie movies from like the 20s and 30s into the 50s and about the 60s, where it started being like, hey, what if we did like our own thing, and it wasn't just like a stage play where you're up close and personal with the action. But anyway, moving on to the 70s one. That one's that is a very interesting movie in a lot of ways, because first off, it's rated PG. That movie absolutely should not be rated PG in any way, shape, or fucking form. And I know people are always like talking about, Indiana Jones and well, I mean, that was like one of the first ones to come out with the PG-13 rating. I still think that one would be borderline at PG-13, honestly. Like it's weird because I think because it just feels semi-cartoony and it's a remake of a classic, like nearly family level movie. I mean, the original one's kind of scary for kids at the time, but it's like by 1978, it's like that's something you just show on Saturday afternoon on Fox or whatever, like it's no big fucking deal. And I feel like they were kind of afraid to be like, well, this can't be an R rating. Like, kids are watching the original one on TV. We're trying to get them to see the theater. Like, we can't make this R rated, but it's like, there's some like, I mean, this is a year before Alien, and there's some shit in there that's very close to like the Alien pod level of stuff of grossness and body horror type things. And then kind of just straight up fucking nudity for like about 5 minutes. Like it's semi-obscured, but it's like there's just naked lady walking around for like the end of the movie. It's Brooke Adams, but she's just like like straight up walking around naked. It's kind of weird. I was like, all right, I know there was no PG-13, but what? Like it's a pretty fucked up movie, and it had to be one of the ones that went into the argument of like creating a new rating. Like I said, I feel like PG-13 still might not have been strong enough just for some of the kind of like we're going for John Carpenter level of practical effects and grossness and stuff. But there's some really good shit in it too. Like that's a really solid movie, and I feel like it's a lot more scary because it takes place in San Francisco and not a small town. And it's just like it goes from like, hey, I think maybe, oh fuck, like real quick, to like like it's just it ups the stakes just by there being so many fucking people in a city like that. Just kind of creates that paranoia even more. So they're both absolutely worth watching. Like I said, people not familiar with movies older than Star Wars are probably going to have some difficulty with the original one, just because, like I said, it's not full on crazy like Shakespearean level overacting. It's just people were still kind of acting for the stage a little bit in movies of that age.
It's of that era.
Yeah.
What'd you think about the Robert Duvall cameo?
Yeah. What was that? Like, I just thought about that.
I've wondered that for 50 fucking years.
Actually, yeah, I was just like, wait.
So strange.
No, I totally
I've never understood that.
No, I totally forgot it until you just brought it up, because like I did the same. I was like, wait, is that Robert Duvall? And then then he's gone out of the movie forever. And
yeah, he's just a priest on a swing. He's the most menacing swing priest you've ever seen. And it's like, wait, was that? Is he coming back? What?
Yeah, I totally forgot that, but I had the same reaction. I was like, is that fucking Robert Duvall? Like,
yeah. It's not like he was just like some bit player at that point. I mean, he'd been fucking Godfather and shit. Yeah, I don't
was
know
it
if he
some
was
sort
just
of
on
like
set one day.
cross promotion thing? Was he like in something where he was a priest at some point in that
Not
that time
anywhere
period?
near that film. Not until like.
Well, I know you mean the apostle, but that was not a priest. Yes.
Yeah, no, he was in a movie called True Confessions with De Niro, but that was I think De Niro was the priest in that. Yeah, it's just such a weird thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally forgot about that, but that is real weird. Plus early Jeff Goldblum,
Yep.
Yeah.
And Spock.
Yeah, okay, so there's a couple of weird things about there's a couple of weird things in general. Like I said, when you're watching some of this shit and it's like I was looking to the end, was like, who did the fucking creature effect things? Because I swear to God, it's like they just finished this and immediately went on to fucking Alien. Because like some of the actual like pod things are very fucking close to like the Alien level of like, how to move a thing and make it look like, membrane and shit like that. And I mean, it was all really good. And Veronica Cartwright's in this, so it's like there's points where like these pods are like exploding in our face. And I'm like, all right, this is weird. Like it's just like doomed to fucking do this forever. And then it's like they literally play the same version of Amazing Grace when Donald Sutherland it's towards the end, but Donald Sutherland like goes, it's like one of the few parts of the movie that's like almost the exact same thing from the original Body Snatchers. Like there's a lot of like liberties taken from the remake, but there's one thing where it's like, oh, this is the exact same scenario. I was really like expecting a gender swap thing to happen, especially, huh?
They didn't do that back then.
Well, I meant mostly because like there's a thing that like if you've been on the internet you can't not see. I mean, it's meme-ish, and it's literally the last shot of the movie, unfortunately.
Yes.
Yeah. But it's like, I was kind of like, all right, I know that, but like, how's that going to play out? Like, unfortunately, I'm like watching it the whole time. Like, all right, at least I know that's coming. It could be a dream sequence. I don't know that, but but there's a point where he's running and it's playing the exact same cut of Amazing Grace that's in Star Trek 2 when Spock dies. And I mean, I know it morphs into the Jerry Goldsmith score, but it's like, I'm pretty sure that's the same recording of Amazing Grace up until when the Goldsmith part like takes off.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I'm just like, and Spock's in this fucking movie, and I'm like, there's several things that were just like, now this is breaking my brain. Yeah.
Man. So have you never seen the 90s one?
No. Does that one have Christopher Reeve in it? No. He did.
No.
He did Village of the Damned, right?
Wasn't there a Daniel Craig one too from like 2007?
Just called Invasion.
Oh,
him and
shit, I didn't know there were more.
Nicole Kidman.
Nicole Kidman, yeah.
Okay, I guess
they just keep doing it.
Huh. All right.
Is it like a public domain story now or something?
I think it's an easy story to sell.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I have more homework to do.
I mean, I'm surprised they haven't remade it recently because it's an easy story to tell. It's relevant at all times. I think the 90s one is kind of crap.
Okay.
What's the 90s one? Who's in it, actually? I kind of cut you off before you could say.
I think it's Gabrielle Anwar, if you remember her from A Hot Minute in the 90s.
Like Scent of a Woman?
Nope.
Is that her? Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably not the one most people would point to, but it's the famous dance sequence with Al Pacino.
It's the Bad Lieutenant director. It's Abel Ferreira So it's arty and weird. It's like, why are you doing this? This doesn't seem like what you would do.
Hey, Meg Tilly's in it.
Oh, that's right. Meg Tilly's in it. Yeah.
Yeah, the Philip Kaufman made the '70s one, who went on to make The Right Stuff and a bunch of other weird things. Like, I'm just like, that's a weird career he has.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, he made like The Unbearable Lightness of Being and stuff, but it's like he got to a weird place eventually. Like,
Yeah.
because didn't he also make like Ice Pirates or some shit? Like, no.
No.
Fuck, no. There's something. He's got something in his, like, it's not far off that level of like, what the fuckness. There's something in his filmography where it's like, wait, you made what? I don't know. Anyway, something we just watched. It was made from the guy that made Ice Pirates. I don't remember. Stuart Rafferty, right? Is that
Stuart Raffle? He made
Raffle?
Mac and Me and Tammy and the T-Rex.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah. Philip Kaufman did not do Tammy and the
Right.
T-Rex.
Look,
From the director of The Right Stuff.
I would watch Philip Kaufman's Tammy and the T-Rex.
yeah.
Yeah, they should let all famous directors take a shot at Tammy and the T-Rex.
Yes.
Just make it a reality show. Just come in and be like, all right, your Tammy and the T-Rex was okay.
I want to see Tarantino's Tammy and the T-Rex. Tarantino and the T-Rex. I'm just saying, like, if you could go back and like have '90s Harvey Keitel play the Bernie character, I would be about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Took me a second to figure out what you were doing. The Bernie character.
Whatever the fuck his name is, I don't know. He's Bernie.
Yeah, I know. Terry Kaiser.
Kaiser, sure, yeah.
Bernie character.
Yeah. I always forget the role of the Kaiser.
Mm-hmm. Jesus. So, should we talk about Last Dance now or save it for later?
Well, we're usually in on that only because like we can be like, hey, if you hate sports,
Okay, yeah, let's end
you
on
may
it.
leave.
I watched Upload, new Amazon show.
Okay.
From Greg Daniels, creator of the
Office.
American version of The Office and King of the Hill and other stuff.
Oh, okay. What is Upload?
It is the 10-episode, 30-minute series where dude dies and his consciousness gets uploaded into this digital heaven, so to speak. But it's basically like Second Life type thing almost, but it's more like a VR deal. But he's definitely dead, and his consciousness only exists digitally. Yeah, that's the premise basically. There's of course a whole running story going on about how he died and all that stuff because it's kind of like abrupt, and he has to make a decision very quickly about, okay, you can either die the normal way or you can go in surgery and maybe you'll live, but we don't know, or you can get your brain uploaded into this VR thing. And his wife had already, or girlfriend had already had family in there and said, okay, well, here, this is where we're sending him. And so he has to kind of deal with that reality. And it's a weird show. I mean, I enjoyed it, but it's also very much it's one of those comedies that's not like, there's plenty of episodes where I didn't laugh at all, and I don't know if I was, and you don't necessarily know if you were supposed to that whole episode. But it also kind of suffers, which, I haven't watched Parks and Rec or any of those, which I guess he helped co-create too. But, everyone talks about Parks and Rec, the first season sucking, and then everything's good after that. I feel like this might have a bit of that DNA because some characters, the main pair of characters, basically, it's the guy who died, and then kind of like, it's called an angel, but it's basically like customer service in here, which is real people basically VRing into this digital realm to, help these people with whatever they need. Because he's basically living at just this giant hotel resort type thing. And it's basically his tech support person and him are the two main characters and the relationship that develops between them. But there are so many other people that are basically just broad stereotype one note thing, and that's it. And it plays really weird to have these fully fleshed out real characters interacting with cartoons, basically, Okay. So it's tonally really weird, but it's also like, these are kind of like, okay, this guy he'll get an episode in the end of season 2 that you go, oh, okay, I see all this new depth to him, you know, that sort of thing. But you don't have that episode yet, so all you have is just kind of like, wow, that guy's kind of one note and not real. You know, he's a character. He's not, you know, like a fleshed out person in the show, so to speak. And it's populated with a lot of those people. And tonally, it gets weird because you have them interacting with characters who are fully realized real characters. So it gets a little weird. I mean, I'm interested. I'll see where it goes in the second season. And it was, you know, it's a fun little romantic comedy type thing. But yeah, I don't know. It's totally, it's also weird because it gets a lot into how he died and all that stuff. And that stuff gets a bit dark at times. And it's like, I don't know if that's what you guys were like. Tonally, it feels weird contrasted with everything else that's going on. So it's one of those, I don't know. I feel like they could have used quite a few rewrites on a lot of stuff early on. But I mean, I enjoyed it, but I can't, you know, I can't say, no, you got to check this out. This is the best, because it's kind of, you know, and there's some clever stuff, but they just drop it. You know, like a lot of times he'll have ads that keep popping up in front of him because he's in a virtual world, of course, and it's set, you know, I think it's like 15 years in the future. And so, you know, everything is advertised to everyone at all times. And even dead people are being advertised to be charged for, you know, using the mini bar there and all that stuff. And then they have people who are on limited data plans, you know, the poor people, where they end up. So there's, you know, I mean, it's a lot like Idiocracy, where it's like, all right, there's a lot of good ideas here, but you're not consistent with them and you're not following through on them. Because like one episode, he's got like pop-ups for ads popping up in front of him throughout like the whole episode. And then they'll have other episodes where there's literally none of that the entire time. And it's just kind of like, I don't know. It's a weird show to binge watch. Let's put it that way. But it's easy to binge watch because they're only 30 minutes. So we watched it in like, I think 3 nights. We watched like 6 episodes the first night and then like 3 the next. And then we watched the final one the next night. So yeah. So it's good. It's not great. But I mean, the characters that are fleshed out, I really liked. So I like to see what they do with them. And they leave it in at least an interesting place for the next season, if there is one.
I see that the cigarette smoking man is in it.
He is. He plays one of the Koch brothers.
Like the terrible.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
super.
But he is a Choke brother. I guess they changed the name just enough. But yes, he is as evil as you would expect him to be.
Is he the one who died? One of them died recently.
He is.
Actually. Oh, he is? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
but yeah, like there's a point where he's eating a rare rhino meat, and he says, "Yes, I made sure that they killed the last rhino before I died, so they'd get the taste perfectly right before they uploaded it into this world." And of course, you know, like whenever there's like a contest to win money or something in there, you know, credits in there, he always wins it because, you know, he's already a trillionaire, so and got more credits than anyone else. So yeah, they do. Yeah, they do some stuff with that, but it's like it feels like Idiocracy, where it's just like, all right, we had this idea and then we just kind of tossed it in, but they don't really build on it in a way that's satisfying, I guess. Yeah. Bummer. But it's still, I mean, it's 5 hours. It's not like it's this huge investment. It's not like, oh, watch a whole season of 24 and see if it doesn't suck, you know, that sort of thing. I mean, it's not.
Spoiler, it doesn't. I mean, depending on how far in the future you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just interesting. It's only set like 15 minutes or 15. No, it's 2033. So it's set 13 years in the future.
Oh, we can get there.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know.
No.
Yeah.
I watched a future thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is it?
Yeah. I rewatched Lockout.
Oh yeah, that showed up on Netflix now.
Yeah. I still don't like Lockout. It's still not what it's supposed to be. It's that thing should be a 5 jocks. This is awesome. You guys did it. You somehow made a big budget one of these and made it real dumb and conned people into going to see it. It's not. It's lame. It's man, hmm.
I
liked
enjoyed it for what it is.
I liked
I
it
don't
even-
remember anything from it now. I mean, we all saw it in the theater. I could not tell you a damn thing about it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I've obviously I went back and I apparently reviewed it when it came out and was like, this is fine. And then, but I remember thinking, but it's not what you want it to be. And man, there is an action scene in the first 10 minutes that it just turns into a cartoon. Like it is torque levels of what the fuck is going on here? What dimension am I in? He gets on like a hover bike and takes off, and it just becomes the worst computer graphics you've ever seen. And this movie came out in 2012. We'd figured stuff out by then. But I guess the French didn't have any money, and
So that's it.
basically it.
All right.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's got bad guys who are speaking in such a thick accent I can't even understand what they're saying. So it's like, I what? I don't know.
Speaking of, this is totally not even this show related, but I started playing Control, the video game. Am I supposed to be able to understand the janitor dude like ever?
Not really.
No, he's
I
from a
turned on
foreign land.
subtitles for him.
Can you
He
do it
is
just for
Finnish as
him?
hell.
Yeah.
You can.
Super
There's
Finnish.
there's literally an option for turn on subtitles just for the janitor.
No, you just turn them all on or you turn them all off.
Okay.
It's
All right.
worth it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Turn
haven't
on
understood.
for him and ignore the rest.
I haven't understood a thing he said so far. Should I start over? Because I literally don't know what he said.
No,
It's not that
later
important.
on you'll want to understand what he says.
Okay.
But yeah, early on it's just kind of like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I'm usually pretty good at still understanding accents. Is
He's
it
got
English?
a real Peter Stormare quality to him.
No,
where it's just like, what?
This is beyond anything.
What accent is that?
No, this is. I don't even know what this is. this is some other level. Like,
By the way, Peter Stormare is in Lockout.
Oh yeah,
Totally forgotten that.
I'm gonna have to
I
go
don't
rewatch
remember
this
that
now.
either.
Because I remembered enjoying it. I don't remember a thing about it other than Guy Pearce is in it. That's about it.
He is in it.
Yeah. That's about what I remember. Yeah.
Called it.
And it was a space prison.
yeah.
Espresso.
He just has a super thick Finnish accent.
Okay.
And I have spoken with Finnish relatives that have that accent, and yeah, like unless you are basically laser focused on what they're saying, you're not going to understand a word of it. Like, or it's like one of those cases where like you lose a word and then like the rest of the sentence is just gone. It suddenly becomes, okay, I'm off a syllable and now everything is just
Right.
Yep.
So I have one more thing before we do Last Dance, if you don't mind, if we are ready to do Last Dance.
No, I got one more thing.
Oh, okay.
Real brief.
All right,
Though
go
it
ahead.
might lose us more. It might get us more negative iTunes reviews. So, we tried out The Great on Hulu. That's the Catherine the Great one with Elle Fanning and dude from Mad Max Fury Road, the War Boy or whatever. Nicholas Hoult, that's his name. He plays
Got there.
Peter, who's like the king of Russia, who she marries.
Uh-huh.
Complete piece of shit. Gets away with everything for it too because he's the king. And yeah, it's one of those shows.
Understood.
You know? Yep. Yeah. So yeah, it's tough when you have a petulant child running things and basically everyone has to just bow down and kiss his ass or they get executed. So yeah.
That's a shame about Russia.
Yep. It is. So yeah. So I bounced hard. I kind of came back because they give you a little hope at the end of the first episode, but yeah, I don't know. And it's weird because like knowing the actual stories of things, it's kind of like, yeah, they're making him worse than he was in real life, which is kind of, it's like,
Why?
I don't know. It makes me question shows if that everyone learned all the wrong lessons from Game of Thrones and Walking Dead getting popular at the same time. If they're just like, people want to see suffering. And it's like, yeah, but we need little victories along the way. We need at some point for the characters to like have a ray of hope that isn't like 5 seasons ahead. You know, like you have to have little moments where it's like, all right, this character has a victory here. And it's like, no, this character just got kicked in the dick again. Like, and yeah, that thing that was going to go well for them, nope, kicked in the dick again. You know, it's like,
Well, that's why I bounced on The Walking Dead, because did that ever happen? Like, I feel like
No,
people just
they
like
just keep kicking those characters in the dick.
well, I feel like
if a
feel like
character
someone
got a redeeming moment, they were killed.
right,
Like within 1 or 2 episodes.
Sure.
And that became Walking Dead's thing. And it's like,
that's not fun. Yeah.
And you know, and then of course Walking Dead, it's like, oh yeah, this guy who murdered your friends. Well, I guess he's on our side now. You know, it's like, oh fuck you.
Yep.
Like that's even worse than like not just like then giving them an unsatisfying death. To me, is like, no, now he's our friend. It's like, no, like same with Fast and Furious movies still, and Jason Statham. It's like, nope, he murdered Han.
That's
good thing they brought Han back. That's like
good thing
the only
Han's
way.
not dead.
Yeah, that's the only way they could cure that thing, is to be like, no, Han didn't die, so he actually didn't kill your friend.
So stupid that they were like, here's justice for Han. He's not dead. It's like, that's not justice. That's just dumb.
Yeah,
he died in 2 movies. He died.
Yeah, but yeah, the great. I mean, she's gonna keep watching. I like, you know, she watched all the way through Young Pope and watched New Pope, and more power to her, I guess. But
and now next Pope,
you know,
and Pope after next.
I guess I just like I said before with Young Pope, it's like I don't need that in my entertainment. I don't need that stress of just like hating someone who much and they still just keep getting away with everything. Like. Yeah. I just, I might have been wired for it 10 years ago, but I'm not wired for it now. Like, I'm just like, no, I don't need this in my entertainment. Sorry. And I know that's coming from a guy who plays like fucking Dark Souls and all that shit. And just like video games beat me to death. But like a TV show where that happens, I'm like, no, absolutely not.
Well, that's just the game kicking you directly in the dick.
I guess. I don't know, but
it's not like you're playing it like I'm a terrible person. You know, it's like, no, it's just like, hey, fuck you.
What are you saying? There's like
dick
kicking by proxy.
Like, I feel bad because like both of those shows are really well made and like, you know, well scored. Like everything about them is, you know, technically great, but just like having this character that can just do whatever the fuck they want and fucks over everyone else and suffers no consequences for it. Like, it's like, no, thank you.
Yeah, it's weird because like I feel like as a society we have kind of moved on from wanting that kind of like Sopranos power fantasy. I mean, I know it persisted through to like Breaking Bad and stuff where it's just like, no, let him do his crimes and everything. But I feel like we've come to a point where it's just like, I feel like as people, we are at a point where it's just like, we don't want that anymore. But Hollywood didn't get the memo and they're just like, yeah, that's what the people want.
But Sopranos and Breaking Bad, you knew it was not going to end well. Like from the show never made any misdirection about that. Like, this is not going to end well for this person. Like from the very beginning, like you're like,
yeah, that ending sucked.
I love the ending of Sopranos. It's one of the best endings in TV.
Yeah, I'm totally cool with it.
Yeah. But no, I'm saying like you knew like that things were not going to end well for the characters. Like they never.
Sure.
You know, it wasn't like, hey, like we're going to show you this and then haha, turns out it's shitty for them. It's like, no, I knew. Yeah. It's just how.
Well, I'm like with these shows, I'm so bad because I literally looked up how many episodes each character was in, just because I was like, all right, when does this fucker die? And yeah. I'm not gonna say anything further than that, but yeah.
I mean, it's historical. It's not a spoiler.
I mean,
yeah.
Unless you don't know shit about fucking Russian history.
I mean, historically, he only reigned for 6 months. So there you go. But
each season is one day of his reign.
Yeah.
I mean, some poor person went in to see Titanic and was shocked when the boat sank. I mean, at least one. You know, I'm saying like, oh my god, the boat hit an iceberg. It's like, no fucking shit.
It also makes you wonder, like, if that's why Tarantino has done what he's done.
What? Just
the revisionist history stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like, I know how this ends. And you're like, oh wait, no, it didn't.
Yeah, it's
cool.
That's something I could go on a whole rant. I'm having increasing problems with that, even if it's supposed to be cathartic. Like, because I mean, I saw something that was like trying to be in defense of, like, especially Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I'm like, no, the problem is going to be in the future is like we watch movies now, and there was always a point of like fiction we are telling, but if it's about, I'm not talking like Yoda on purpose. Fiction we are telling, but if it's about historical figures, we're not making shit up. You know, like I mean, we might fill in gaps to make for dramatic purposes, but it's not like like at the end, like John Wilkes Booth like goes, whoops, slips on a banana peel, falls and breaks his neck on the stage, and you're like, yeah, fuck yeah,
I watched that movie too.
6 more years of Lincoln, like, but I'm saying like it's, but at a
if
certain
Spielberg
point,
was smart, he would have done his movie though.
at a certain point, people are going to watch that movie and think it's fucking history.
Fuck them. Who cares? That's their dumbass.
We're there, and we don't need to fucking muddy the waters anymore. Is what I'm saying.
Trust me, stupider people aren't watching Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. They didn't make it to the end of that movie.
Yeah.
Like, ain't nothing happening in this movie but driving.
They're not wrong.
Did like when Brad Pitt beat up that Asian fella though. That was good.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Cocky Asian fella.
Right,
I'll have
yeah.
you know.
He thought he was tough shit. Brad Pitt taught him what's what. Brad Pitt's an American.
All I'm saying.
Yes, all those things.
It's just a weird, small, strange. It's the same reason I don't like comedies that are too, hyper current. Like let's drop a joke and then it's like 6 months later it's like the fuck does that mean? Like I totally forgot this thing existed. Like that's comedies that are written like just about completely topical humor are fucking useless 5-10 years later. And
I can't tell you how many recent things I have seen where someone has referenced a specific season of The Bachelor, and I have been like, "What the fuck is that?"
Right. That's what things like that. Like it's like here we are referencing a thing that like I just look at like the whole argument of movies as art type of thing means art has to persist, and your topically written comedy thing is probably not going to hold up. There are some exceptions like Airplane where it's like, okay, we were spoofing a thing that like you probably now would never fucking know that we were spoofing, and we're going to make some references, but like on the whole, that's still just generally goofy funny, even if you don't necessarily get the reference.
Oh, I don't know. There are a lot of super duper topical references in Airplane. Like,
Sure.
I
I
totally get the argument from people where it's like, I don't get this. Where it's like, yeah, why would you? These are like hyper specific Reagan jokes.
Sure. And like I said, you can enjoy them if you're of the time period and you're like, haha, I remember that. But like, the thing is like, the thing is like something like an alternate version of the Manson family murders. You have a group right now that is going to like, I know about this and I know what happened and I know that this is how this is going to end. You take this 10 years from now and it's like that group gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until they're just like, then you've like abstracted history for an audience that no longer exists, and then you run the worst risk of like somebody watching and going like, oh, so that's what happened? Shit, that's weird,
Yeah, but I mean, okay, not to get completely off topic on this, but I mean, like, that's what's happened throughout time. I mean, look at the King James Bible, for God's sakes. That's an entire revision on a thing, and now that's treated as truth, and you go, most people believe that, and you're like, no, that's not what this said at all. This is just made up bullshit by this guy to make him happy.
Well, that's like saying, go ahead and smoke next to the forest fire. Like, what the fuck's the difference? Like, you should maybe not keep contributing to it, is my point.
Well, and my thing is like that's the point of the movie, is to give the movie a happy ending in a way that the 60s did not get.
I just don't know why it has to involve
that basically
that ruined the 60s.
Yeah, I mean it's marked very much as a turning point of the whole like peace, love, all that bullshit going away, like getting wiped out.
But that doesn't feel like that's even what the movie's about. Like the movie's not even I mean,
the movie's just about having a good time.
Well, I'm saying like that. I mean, like it's not like you're capping off like it's not like you've been watching hippies and like this is about to kill the hippie movement. It's like you're watching aging Western stunt people, and actors. It's like who are pretty fucking old school. They don't fit in the fucking 60s as is. They're like their on-screen persona doesn't fit in the 60s. I mean, they're throwbacks. They were popular in the for probably the early 50s they were on television, right? Based on the age thing, so it's like they're already the boomers of that era. You know what I mean? It's like they're already the people that are like, oh yeah, good, whatever, grandpa, get the fuck out of here. So I don't know. It's just like, to me, that injecting the Manson family plot into it at all serves no purpose to that movie, if you ask me. Strangely, that's what I mean. I feel like so many other things Tarantino has done. It's like, okay, I can see why you might bring in real life person thing, whatever, or event, because it actually has it does correlate or at least cohabitate with your story. To me, that had nothing to do with it other than like all of a sudden Brad Pitt wanders out into the fucking farm. It's just like what or the ranch, whatever the fuck they called it. Yeah,
the ranch.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's like other than like just like oops, I don't know. I ended up here because I tried to pick up a very young girl. Like it's just I don't know. It's weird.
It's a cautionary tale. Just don't do that.
Yes. Once upon a time in Hollywood, a cautionary tale.
I mean,
okay. I didn't want to bring back Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Just it's a weird thing. Anyway, never mind. Totally different thing. I actually want to talk about. This is happy. This is something I encourage you to do. Yeah. I decided to bring back because I've needed to inject some happiness in my life, which I think a lot of people have. And for me, this was always a good way to start the day, and it was a thing that I was not generally able to do. So I've basically brought back what I'm calling Project AM, where every morning before noon I watch a Jackie Chan movie. I don't care if it's one I've seen 100 times. Just like put one on the background, like pay as much attention as you want, because I realize it's basically adult cartoons, and I don't mean like Fritz the Cat. I mean like its sensibilities are like Looney Tunes basically, but it's dudes getting kicked in the face and punched in the dick and stuff, and it's like it's cartoons for adults, and it's just it's great because it's like every day is a Saturday morning in a way, because like you're just watching this fun thing that is just like oh shit, like you can just look up or at any point in time and be like, that was great, holy shit, damn.
Well, which ones are you watching?
Let's see, I've watched Police Story 1 through 4, so Super Cop and First Strike are in there. I watch those cuts because the dubbing is just, that era of dubbing is just hilarious to me.
You mean like the Miramax era of the Dimension Film era of dubbing?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, I don't know. It that cracks me up. I mean, I know they're edited and stuff, but down from like the original sizes. But like that's what I originally saw going into the theater. So
don't all those end with kung fu fighting?
You mean the song? No,
yes.
only Rumble in the Bronx. No, is it Rumble in the Bronx?
I feel like
I think no, it's Rumble in the Bronx.
Okay. I just feel like they're like, all right, whatever. No.
Sorry, no. Fuck. What is no? Rumble in the Bronx ends with the actual Jackie Chan song. From that band. Fuck, I can't remember. The song is called Jackie Chan.
Okay.
Fucking where is Kung Fu Fighting? And I feel like it's fucking Rush Hour. I feel like that's one of the ones where it's just like, fuck you.
No, one of those dubbed ones definitely ends with it, because I was just, it might be First Strike.
It's not First Strike. I just watched that one today. I mean, and I usually sit through the credits, so.
Is it one of the Operation Condor ones?
Maybe. I don't know.
I know one of the dubbed versions absolutely does, because I was just like, come on, guys. Jesus Christ. So how many of them have you watched so far? Just those 4?
No, I mean, I watched Who Am I, Mr. Nice Guy. I haven't done like either of the Drunken Master movies, because this is gonna sound weird, but I'm realizing while I like Legend of the Drunken Master or Drunken Master 2, whatever you want to call it, while I think it's awesome, I don't think it's a good Jackie Chan movie. Because like it's
more of a stunt spectacular.
It's a stunt spectacular. I feel like that was like, hey Jackie, we need you to make, like, Jet Li's getting really popular, and we need you to make like a more brutal like thing that's not really your cup of tea. I mean, he does it and it's good. I'm just saying, like, that movie has a level of like brutality in it that's entertaining. It just doesn't work for me. It's like, it's just like Heart of a Dragon. It's like, that's not a fucking Jackie Chan movie. That's a I'm going to take care of my handicapped brother thing. It's like if there's even any fighting in it, it's like for a moment,
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just saying, like, I would put it in like, it's good. Don't get me wrong. It's a great movie. I'm just saying, like, to me, it's not one of the Jackie Chan movies when I say Jackie Chan movie. Just like some of the other early ones where it's like, they're practically Shaw Brothers movies where it's just like, yeah, we're out in a fake village in a field,
right.
With, period costume things. And Like I said, I think it's Fearless Hyena. There's a VHS dub back in the day. It's just one of the funniest dubs. I always have to bring it up. Fearless Hyena, the one where he's just a little British boy, and it's just the funniest goddamn thing. It's just,
That's the one I was thinking. I was about to say, like, I know you've talked about it before,
Oh,
where he's
God.
just like a little kid.
It's so good, like, because it's one of the classic ones where it's like, he wants to learn, and it's the master who just like won't teach him unless he like does all the dumb chores, the Karate Kid syndrome of like do all this dumb shit and haha, surprise, I was actually teaching you kung fu kind of thing, and he's just always whining about every task he's ever given. He's like, but master, I didn't want to learn kung fu today. It's just like it's so good. It's probably not that exaggerated, but in my mind over the years, because I don't have that rip anymore,
No, I think that's what it is.
yeah
Yeah.
just so whiny. It's so good. Please have some more kung fu. Yeah. Anyway, but yes, Project AM, I think you should do it.
Good on you.
I should actually probably watch Project A and A too, but since I named it after those, but we'll get there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I need to
I
watch.
think I still have your copy of Super Cop.
Oh, okay.
I might. I don't know. I remember I borrowed it way back when. I think I brought it back when I cleaned out my desk at my old work.
I mean, at this point,
I used to have like a whole movie shelf at work. I don't know how I got away with that, but I literally had a shelf on a wall that was just movies. I'd be like, my wife won't let me keep them at home.
These are a surprise for my wife.
Yeah.
There's going to live here for 5 years.
Super Cop.
She's
Right
going to
next to-
love it.
Yeah, right next to these X-Men omnibuses, Don't worry, I don't do any of them at work. I promise.
but no, I have all my discs ripped at this point, so
Yeah.
it's not a big deal.
I feel like we should watch that one for the Bamcast, that the Robert Krause one, the American one that he made, like 1980. The
Bronx Warriors? Wait, that's
no.
1990.
the big no, it's not the big brawl.
Battle Creek Brawl?
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Okay.
That movie's goofy.
Yeah.
It's got like roller skating in it, and that thing's weird.
I want to say it like had like almost like a Newsies vibe to it, because isn't it
A
like
little bit,
it's like
yeah,
in a
it's
20s,
it's
30
like
thing?
Prohibition times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's been a long ass time.
I've seen it. I saw it when it came out on Blu-ray like 5-6 years ago, and was like, this might be goofy enough. So anyway, we'll talk about it. Anyway,
Mhm.
talk about basketball.
Let me take a break real quick,
Okay.
because I thought the dog was with Jen, but obviously she's not. So I have to give her her food.
Oh man, that's a Shyamalan twist.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Well, I kept.
What if
I
she's
kept-
here now?
I kept hearing her in the hallway, and I'm like, "Wait, is?" And then she's like looking around the corner at me, like, "Hey, dude."
Yeah. Yeah, mine was down here earlier staring at me like, hey, since you're up.
Well, yeah, she's still like groggy doggy right now. She's all like, "Oh man, I was so deep asleep, and now I'm hungry as fuck."
Yeah, that's the vibe I'm getting.
And then she probably won't eat
Cool.
because she old.
All right,
All right, be right back,
cool.
and then we'll talk about Last Dance.
Okay.
Promise. Abby is her name.
So,
Yeah. How's it going?
what's
Chuck?
going on? Yeah.
Hanging out.
Pretty good.
Just oh shit! I totally forgot to be looking at the chat. I was looking at my notes and stuff, and all this chatting going on.
Just look at things.
All this chatting going on.
Man, oh man. You open up a cold one for that dog?
It's the only way you can pass the days.
Hey, Alex, 2 cold strobes. Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
Made a fucking
Holy shit.
Stroh's commercial reference.
Was Alex a ripoff of Spuds McKenzie? Or was he first?
No, it was just a dog.
Just another dog?
Yeah, it was
another
just,
beer dog?
It wasn't. He was only in one commercial.
Oh, is that it? Okay.
Yeah, because he's like, okay, he's opening that bottle. Okay, he's opening up the second bottle. Then you hear lap, lap, lap. It's like, Alex, you better be drinking your water. And then all his poker buddies laugh. Ah, Stroh's is great.
I gotta take her out. Bad things might ensue if I don't take her out.
Does the food go like straight
What,
through her?
Take her out?
Well, Rest in peace, doggo. Hardly knew you.
Yeah, it's fucking beginning of John Henry over here.
So IMDb tells me that movie is called Battle Creek Brawl. It is available on Hiya.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I mean, I obviously can glean from the context clues of what that is, but why do I not know about this streaming service?
I don't know.
Tell me more about Hiya.
Hi.
I'm probably mispronouncing. It's probably, hey, y'all.
That's the 24-hour hee-haw channel.
Dude, there's some channel that reruns Hee Haw.
Yeah?
And I've
Like all the
no
time?
less than twice in the last week I've walked through the room and it's been on the television.
Is it all hee-haw? I mean, I envision at some point we will just have so many channels. It's just there is a channel that you turn it on and it's the hee-haw channel. It's just, or, you know.
Feels like it.
I mean, for many years here in town, I thought Channel 4 was just the Andy Griffith Show channel.
Well, when I worked there, it was nothing but MASH, so... Hiya is your new favorite martial arts and Asian action movie channel, featuring hundreds of hours of programming, refreshed
What?
monthly.
That's what it's about?
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea.
It's the #1 streaming channel for martial arts and action movies.
I had no idea.
And aside from that one movie, I don't recognize any of these movies.
I still gotta buy that Shaolin versus Wu-Tang game. I need to play that. I need to see what that's about.
Get it.
Oh, I will. I had
Good.
I had to buy a refrigerator today.
What?
Yeah.
What's wrong with your
Sorry about
refrigerator?
It hasn't worked right, and now it's working right even less.
Oh.
So
I thought that was like the one thing that was good about the house purchase.
no,
No? All right.
nope.
Your fridge don't work?
It doesn't freeze like at all. Like the freezer basically is useless, and ice maker's broken. The compressor's going bad. Not even sure the fridge is at really ideal safe temperature. So I was like, you know what? Stuck inside, eating at home a lot, buying a fucking fridge.
Word. The fridge people are going to love you. They're like, holy
Yeah.
shit, you're saving our jobs.
Yeah, I got to replace our ice maker, but I don't have the bit to unscrew it. I thought I did, but it's so small. Like I don't have one. And I
Our
don't feel like going to Lowe's to get one.
water filter broke for hours, and now it only makes hollow ice, which is annoying as shit. It like forms the outside of an ice cube, but it like instantly crumbles the second any pressure is applied to it. It's like it doesn't fully form the ice; it just forms the shell of the ice. It's annoying as shit.
Well, I mean, luckily I have that home warranty thing, so I had a guy come out and diagnose that it was the compressor and stuff that was bad.
Yeah.
And basically I just asked, I was like, because it was going to be like $900 to fix a fucking 12-year-old fridge or something like that, which is almost all the way the price of a new fridge. And I was just like,
Yeah.
can I just have the money? And they're like, sure, we don't give a shit. Like, thank you.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm just, why would
So
I put
anyway.
it, why would I put it towards this old ass fridge?
Yeah, sorry about that. You guys want to wrap it up
Sure.
with some Last Dance? I'll let you do the clap. So is it time? Time for the Last Dance? The last dance?
I think it is. I mean, unless Chuck or BJ watches it, and then we get to do another Last Dance.
Oh, I'm gonna
all over
watch it
again.
now that I know there's wrestling involved.
Okay.
Hey, for 7 seconds, there is wrestling involved.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was aware of this on the wrestling end. When you guys get to this point, I'll talk about it. But
Okay.
I was aware of this from the other side.
Okay. Yeah, last 2 episodes cover 97 championship, and then the last one is basically the 98 finals. And then the last 10 minutes is basically, all right, here's how it all fell apart. And yeah,
It's the ending of the Scorsese movie.
well, kind of. I mean, they tell you in the beginning, like, this is why it's happening, and they all knew that it was going to happen. And then, you know,
Yeah, I mean,
think there's like a half-hearted attempt to not have it happen,
right.
and it's way too late by then. Yeah, but I mean, these aren't. It's weird. Like, as the show has gone on, it's gotten less fun and more of a, because I guess it's just like Jordan isn't like this peak athletic machine in the later ones. The later ones, it's more like he's just like, he's aging and he's just finding ways to get motivated with the pettiest shit ever. And I don't know. There's a fun factor that isn't quite there in the other ones. Though there is, obviously a pretty good montage in the first one, in the ninth episode. And then like the last one might be one of the best ones, at least as far as like picking the song and then matching it to what they're putting on screen. Yeah, and it's really a surprising song choice that they use too. Like it doesn't necessarily fit with all the rest like if you hear it alone, but in the context, it works really well. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what there is to say at this point that we haven't kind of been saying already. I mean, Harlow, what were your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because like I'm glad it's over and it's not longer. I mean, I feel like it could have maybe even been like 2 less episodes, just condensing.
That was
stuff.
his original pitch.
Yeah.
Apparently, the original pitch was 6. They agreed on 8, and then Jason Hare, I think is his name, Hehir. I don't know how it's pronounced, but and then they announced, yeah, we're doing a 10-episode thing. That was the first he'd heard of it, that it was 10 episodes. So I was like, okay. And I mean, like symmetrically, it makes how they've split everything up work, like as far as they can basically just almost do like year by year as they go. But yeah, I feel like they could have said everything they needed to say in 8 episodes, because they do kind of like the last one especially just feels kind of stretched out as far as like, all right, now we're covering like every game of the finals, where there's some years they're like, yeah, and in 92 they won in like, they beat the shit out of them in 4 games, like it's like a literal 2-minute sequence. And then you've got this last one is like the entire episode. So pacing wise, it feels a little off.
Yeah. Well, for the engagement of Chuck, it was during the 97 finals, correct?
98.
Was it the last finals? Their last fun? Or,
yes.
Okay.
It was.
Yeah. So mid finals, Dennis Rodman disappears, misses like, training one day or whatever, which is weird. I don't know why you'd have a practice when you're in the fucking finals. I mean, I guess I get it, sort of, but it seems like, to me, it just feels like an opportunity to injure yourself in a time where you should be warmed up and ready to go.
They practice because they're going over plays that the
yeah.
other team's going to run and how they'll defend them, and then,
I mean, I guess
adjusting their plays to
sure
get around the defenses that they've seen thus far.
I'm sure all they allowed them to film was them doing shoot-arounds and drills and things, because, they don't want to probably show you them strategizing and how it fucking worked. But yeah, like, and then, yeah, it turns out he just, like, popped up mid-finals on WCW, whatever it was, Monday Nitro. NWO. Well, NWO was the thing. That's the thing.
Whatever, he was helping out Hollywood Hogan.
WCW was the lead.
He showed up on WCW Monday Nitro, and it was just like, why is he here? He's got a game tomorrow, and the whole thing, from what I remember on my side, was like, he shouldn't be doing anything. He has a game tomorrow. He should not engage in any physical activity. What the fuck is he doing?
Hitting a man with a folding chair.
Yes. And now, was Karl Malone there? Okay, that must have been the previous year, because he'd had beef with Karl Malone in a previous WCW incident. So this was the Worm's return to WCW.
Okay,
this wasn't his first appearance on WCW.
No, he had been in it a year earlier, fighting with Karl Malone, if I remember correctly. It was
okay.
They played each other in the finals the year before. They played them in the finals 2 years in a row.
Okay, I'm kind of.
Yeah.
The whole thing ends with Karl Malone and Diamond Dallas Page versus Hulk Hogan and Dennis Rodman in a tag match.
Yeah, all I know is like Michael Jordan kept calling him Rodzilla right after that in the practice for some reason.
He was calling himself that.
Okay.
And Hogan was calling him that. And then the announcers started calling him that. It was like, oh, Rodzilla's here. And all of us wrestling people were like, ugh. Go away, Rodzilla.
Yeah.
Please no.
Yeah, but I think it's weird in that the first few episodes of the season was like, all right, this is the Pippin episode. this is the Rodman episode, this is the Phil Jackson episode, and then they kind of abandoned that, like a little bit. They have the Tony Kukoc episode when they talk about the Dream Team, because he was on the team that played against them in the final, in the, in the gold medal game. But like from that point forward, it just kind of, it all of a sudden becomes like, all right, here's Steve Kerr's story all of a sudden, about his dad who was murdered in the 70s in Beirut, and it's like, okay, it's just, it's strange that it all of a sudden just kind of falls in the middle of part of this. Like, it's like, yeah, we really had this good footage of him talking about his dad, and we didn't know what to do with it. So we kind of stuck it in here, I guess.
To me, that's the most memorable thing in either of the two final episodes, really. I mean, other than like it kind of wrapping up, to me, yeah.
Yeah, it just seems weird. Like, it's good to hear Jordan say, yeah, I would have come back. Like, even if Phil Jackson, if they had talked him into coming back, even if they got rid of everybody else, they knew that Pippen was going to go because they couldn't pay him. And, Rodman was done, like Rodman, they were done with his shit by then, and it was like, and Jordan was basically like, yeah, if you got me and you got Phil Jackson, you can still build a good team. Guys will come here for cheaper. I think he even says that. He's like, yeah, they would have worked it out, even if for one more year, everyone would have signed for one more year just to do it. But, they don't get into the larger circumstances that happen after, which is it's interesting that this documentary ends at basically the point where my NBA fandom ended for a while, because they have the 98 finals and then they don't really get into the fact that there's a lockout the next season. And the next season was significantly shortened. It was only like 50 games, and the Bulls like absolutely sucked. I think they only won 9 games that next season because they had gotten rid of anyone who was good. They just tanked completely. And with the lockout, like that's how they kind of got away with Jordan, like all the bullshit they pulled on Jordan. Because it was like, if it had been like, all right, here we go, season starting now, what's going on with Michael Jordan, things would have happened. But I mean, it dragged out into like, February or March of the next year. I don't even remember. It was a significant amount of time where it was just no basketball and no nothing. And that was like kind of, there was no Twitter back then. And there was, the coverage that you got was kind of like, all right, what did Sports Center have to say tonight? And that was like all you kind of knew about any of it. So Jordan ended up like, there was just nowhere to go because nobody could pay him, because he's like, signing $30 million contracts every year. And there was literally no other teams that could sign him. So he's like, well, I guess I can't really go anywhere. And that's the only reason he retired. But, he straight up says, I wouldn't have, if they had let me come back, I would have come back, and I probably would have convinced the other guys to come back too. But yeah, it's bizarre. It's really bizarre that they just decided to end it when they did.
Yeah. I kind of was expecting with that many more episodes to go. Cause when, I didn't think it was this long as it is, and I was like, oh, so they're probably going to get into like, him owning then, or partially owning and then playing for the Wizards, and then like, the whole buying the Bobcats or Grizzlies or whatever the hell he did I think they changed the name maybe, or I don't know.
Yeah, he bought the Bobcats. They became the Hornets again. They were the Hornets,
right?
And then they moved to New Orleans, and then they became the Pelicans. And then once they were the Pelicans, then the Bobcats were like, oh, we can be the Hornets again. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the Utah Jazz used to be the New Orleans Jazz, which is why their name is the fucking Jazz.
Yeah, because when I think Jazz, I think
Utah
Utah
does not have any jazz.
No, Utah is known for jazz.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that Donnie Marie movie. Skeet about boop boop down.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, it took me a good 10 years to really get back into the NBA after the lockout happened. Like just circumstances of everything changed, not only for the NBA, but for like, my life as well. I wasn't in Orlando anymore. My parents didn't have tickets anymore, so I couldn't leech those off of them. So, yeah. So it really, it's interesting how it kind of chronicles the end of an era, so to speak, because the 90s really, for just about anybody my age that follows basketball, it's kind of like, yeah, the 90s kind of really were the peak of the NBA. Like, it's just, they point out like before the 92 Olympics, the NBA was in like 80 countries. And by the end of the decade, it was in like 215 countries. It's like one of those things where it's just like that blew everything up. And, Michael Jordan was obviously a huge part of that. And I think that's, why he agreed to do this now. Because I think he realized people were kind of like forgetting how good he was. Because, you'll see on like basketball Twitter and that stuff, they're like, no, LeBron's the greatest of all time. And I can imagine Michael Jordan, someone being like, yeah, you seen this thing, Michael? And judging by the way he acts about all the slights that he had just to keep himself motivated because he was so freaking good, I could just see him being like, all right, I didn't approve all that footage 20 years ago, but let's put this shit out now.
The movie overall is terrible, but I always go back to The Bad Teacher.
Yes, I was just getting ready to say the same
Jason
thing. That's the
Segel,
only good scene in that movie where
Jason
he's
Segel,
just yelling at that kid.
That's the only thing that matters.
Yes.
Michael Jordan's in that?
No. He and this kid
Jason
are arguing
Segel
about
yelling at a kid. They're having a Jordan LeBron fight.
Yeah.
Oh God.
And he's just like, yeah, well, he doesn't have all the rings. He's like, that doesn't really matter. He's like, that's the only thing that matters. 6 rings.
Yeah. Him yelling at that kid is the best thing in that movie.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that
and it's
matters,
just
Sean.
it makes me wonder like how Jordan would survive nowadays, like what his Twitter account would be, because now, and it's weird because and I think also Jordan put that out because so many kids now, like the only thing they know of this guy is Crying Jordan, from his Hall of Fame speech, and it's like, no, this guy would murder you if it meant he could win the game. He would literally kill you.
Wow.
I didn't get that impression, but all right.
I did.
Wow, I need to watch this now.
Yeah.
I want to see murder and
Well, and it's, it's interesting in people that haven't enjoyed it, like hearing what they say, because I understand both sides of it. A lot of people don't like the whole, hey, Michael, here's this iPad of somebody talking about you. Gary Payton was the big one, the last episode, where it's like, here's Gary Payton talking about shutting you down in the finals. And it's kind of like, you almost don't get the honest reaction at first. You get his reaction to them, where like, it's going to be different if they say, Michael, tell me about Gary Payton in the 96 finals and see what he says. Whereas you hand Michael Jordan an iPad that says, here's Gary Payton talking shit at you about, guarding you in the 96 finals, so you're going to like, and sometimes, it yields reactions where he just laughs his ass off at him. He's like, nah,
no problem with the glove.
Yeah, I had no problem with him whatsoever. He sucks, like that shit. But
I was actually, I believe, his direct quote is like, I had no problem with the glove.
Yeah.
Cut.
Well, yeah, he ridicules his nickname. He goes, the glove. Yeah. I had no problem with the glove. Yeah. It's weird having such a new appreciation of Jordan because, I genuinely hated that guy through the 90s. Like, I just did not like him at all. He was basically like, if you liked any other team, you were fucked. It was like, yeah, you can root for him, but he's going to beat them, So, yeah. So it's interesting having an appreciation for him now, even though, it's like an unvarnished look at him. I'm surprised he approves so much of the footage, but so much of it is basically him just being like, calling his teammates pieces of shit and, just berating people into playing better.
Maybe he was tired of people not knowing that they were pieces of shit.
I don't know, man.
Well, then he should have been yelling a whole lot louder his first few years at the Bulls.
Yeah.
Because by the time he's actually yelling at people, they were all pretty fucking good. The team he started with was pretty fucking shitty.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Which he points out multiple times.
Oh, yeah. Now, modern Jordan criticizes him, but I'm sure the rookie wasn't coming in there like, fucking play better.
Fucking play better.
Yeah. Come on, Bill Laimbeer. Fucking play. I know you didn't play with Bill Laimbeer. I want to see him yelling at all the old school, like, leftover 70s people.
He fucking hated Bill Laimbeer.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yep.
Why? Because he had his own video game?
And no, because he was a piece of shit.
Yeah, he was one of those dirty players, I believe.
Oh, yeah, he was one of the dirtiest ever.
Yeah.
And unrepentant about it. He was a heel. He was a heel in every regard. So, yeah. You guys want an email?
I would love this email.
This one's, I think it's directed at you, Chuck. I was trying to remember exactly what we said in that episode because I was like, I don't think I said the only one, but anyway.
I remember.
Anyway, this one comes from Scott Adkins fan 68 at gmail.com. I guess the other 67 were taken.
The next one's nice though.
No, it's actually Chase, like the landmass island, calling out, writing us saying, Scott Adkins education says, hi BMFers. It's Chase like the landmass island here. I took extreme personal offense to you guys suggesting that Ninja 2 Shadow of a Tear was possibly the only good Scott Adkins movie. How dare you? In my opinion, anything directed by Isaac Florentine or Jesse V. Johnson that he is in is worth watching. I highly recommend Undisputed 2, Last Man Standing, Undisputed 3, Redemption, Boyka, Undisputed by Florentine and Savage Dog, and Avengement by Jesse V. Johnson. Please watch some of these and report back. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Crashed and burned, chased like the landmass island, sent from my eternal homebound bunker.
Word.
I had a feeling Chase might write it.
Okay.
Are you the one who said he has no good movies or what?
No, I said, please write in and tell us what the good Scott Adkins movie is because I've never seen it. And you said Ninja 2 is the one that everyone points to, but you didn't say it was the only one everyone
I did not. I definitely did not.
Yeah. But now here's the thing. I feel like I'm pretty plugged into every movie that comes out. I go through the Amazon lists every Tuesday. I'm like, okay, here's everything that's out. What's interesting? I haven't heard of any of those.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard of any. Like, what is why is he not an Undisputed 1?
Maybe he is. It's just not directed by the same guy. Maybe it had a different director.
I don't know. Is Undisputed the Ving Rhames movie?
I thought Boyka Undisputed might have been the first one, but I don't know. Or we're really gonna have to look at the Undisputed wiki and find out. You know,
wow. Undisputed: Wesley Snipes, Ving Rhames, and Peter Falk.
Peter Falk, like Columbo?
What?
Oh, yeah, and Michael Rooker.
You're undisputed, kid.
And Fisher Stevens. What the fuck is this?
I'm not going to do that one. I'm not sure what that is, like, besides caricatures. Like, I don't know what actual Fisher Stevens sounds like. I got to be honest.
Oh, it's a Walter Hill movie.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, apparently, better people made the sequels.
I guess Michael J. White is in Undisputed too, so that immediately puts it on my radar.
Yeah, I thought that might.
Yeah, Michael J. White is playing the Wesley Snipes character. Yeah, Mr. Undisputed.
Frank Undisputed.
Yes. All right, I'll look into those.
Yeah.
I think
want
it
to mention
should be
Fred Ward.
Stu
or not Fred Ward. Jesus Christ, Fred Willard.
Oh.
I was gonna say, what happened to Fred Ward?
No. I hope nothing. God, he's a treasure. But yeah, man, Fred Willard. That sucks. I had no idea he was still alive.
Huh.
However,
what a touching tribute.
What a wonderful eulogy.
Yeah.
Holy shit, you're dead. Didn't know you were alive, but
I'm doing that a lot lately. But no, I was just like, is there anybody who's like just walked in and just destroyed movies like he did? Like just fucking took over? Like Best in Show just fucking takes over that movie for like the last 15 minutes. You don't give a shit about anybody else in that movie but him.
Yeah, no, literally.
As soon as he shows up.
Yeah, literally anything he shows up in, you're like, oh, Fred Willard. Okay, here we go. This is going to be great.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't actually look. Did he know he was sick? Because I mean, or was he sick? I don't know. But I only ask because like if you were keeping up with Modern Family, they had a funeral episode for his character before he actually died, and I just kind of wondered if it was like he knew he was sick or dying, because I mean it kind of sort of feels like that. I mean, because it's like it felt like a living memorial tribute, sort of like it was kind of weird. So.
Yeah, they hadn't really said much about it.
I know that the most recent things I'd seen him in, and especially if you watch that Space Force trailer, he was very shaky. Like his hands were pretty trembly. I don't know if that's just being old or if there was something wrong, but
sure.
Yeah, I'd noticed towards the end there he was kind of but he was still sharp. I mean,
oh yeah.
I mean, obviously, I don't think he would be in Space Force if he wasn't still delivering the goods.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, he was in the goods?
Live hard, sell hard, or whatever the fuck that movie's terrible.
That's Neil Brennan too. It bugs me. It always bugs me to think about that.
That's just one of those line read movies where everyone's just throwing out the worst possible. Oh, there's one line in that movie that just fucking kills me. It's the quote on my Twitter account. It is fucking amazing.
Is that the one that has Craig Robinson?
Yes.
Is that the thing?
Yes.
I don't go to Twitter anymore, so
yeah.
Nobody tells DJ Request.
He's DJing on a roof.
But his name's
someone
DJ
shouts
Request,
out
right?
something to play with him, and the music gets so serious, and he gets this look on his face. He's like, nobody tells DJ Request what to play. And I was like, that's the funniest fucking thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, I was gonna say because his name is DJ Request.
DJ Request. No one tells DJ Request what to play.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this joke is wasted in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
What should I know Neil Brennan from? Like, what is he known?
He co-created Chappelle's Show.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
He's that guy.
Okay. Yeah. No, because I saw he keeps popping up randomly through comedy things that I've watched, and I guess he has some YouTube thing that's like part interview show, part sketch thing because it's not it goes off the rails into like all fake dumb stuff. But I saw one that he did with the Lonely Island. Like they went back to their home in Berkeley, California, and at first it was just like, yeah, this is where we'd hang out, and one of those kind of like retrospect type things, and then it just gets fucking weirder and weirder, and like the storyline takes off.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's worth watching. I don't remember the name of the show, but I'm sure if you look up Neil Brennan or Lonely Island, you'll probably find it on those YouTubes.
Yeah, all those YouTubes.
Yeah, I don't know. We're rambling though. This has been a lot longer than a variety hour, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Wait, that wasn't him. What am I thinking of then? I thought he did the goods. What the fuck?
Well, who did the goods?
I don't know.
They're not good.
It's too generic a title to show up on
Oh, right.
IMDb. Because there's a 2016 TV series, there's a 2012 short, and there's a 2011 TV series.
No, it's Neil Brennan.
It is?
Yes, it's Neil Brennan.
Did he not write it?
He directed it.
Okay,
He did not write it.
Okay.
That's weird.
All right. Because I'm looking all right. That's what I was trying to... Like, I was only looking at his writing credits, apparently. So I was right the first time.
Mm-hmm.
The hell's wrong with me?
I don't know.
Yeah. It's too late. Got to wrap it up. Dog is looking at me like, all right, we're done here.
Dog's like, wrap it up.
Well,
Like, yeah, you need to go to bed. Your old fashioned is empty, so
Like,
it's time.
I got morning. I got to get up early.
Yeah, I got sleeping to do.
hey, bartender. Joe Boo needs a refill over here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Last thing I'll quickly mention is I rewatched White Men Can't Jump because when I rewatched Major League, it was like, oh yeah, I should totally rewatch that too.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that's all. Just
Okay.
watch the sports movies that I like. Those are two of them.
Okay.
I'm done. I'm just fucking around.
Fantastic. Great content.
Yeah.
I watch the sports movies I like.
What? I still like White Men Can't Jump. I don't know what to be said. Like the
Movie's fine.
No, the insults in that movie are just fucking gold.
They're strong.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like when he just goes on his rant at the actual tournament, just fucking, it's just so good.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I mentioned earlier that we do a Bamfcast Extra. We do some other things. You can you can get some of them over at patreon.com/bmfcast. $1 at the very minimum gets you in to at least get Bamfcast Extra to be able to vote on Bamfcast Extra episodes. Right now, we're not using the voting system because we don't
votes of any kind accepted.
I mean, eventually the voting system
Why
will come
not?
back. It's just because we don't know how many we're gonna do per week, and we're doing like our weird little mini themes and things.
We're plowing through discs, and it's hard for me to build a list if I don't have the discs in front of me. And
Okay.
Reasons.
Yep.
Yeah.
But dollar gets that. We have some other content. There's Who You, where we watch Doctor Who and stuff. Mackie's never seen it. I've seen it like once. Chuck's kind of the expert, as you may have gathered from his background. But yeah, that's things at Patreon because that's it's a podcast.
Patreon.com/bmfcast.
Yeah, we have to plug the Patreon. But yeah,
And if you want to write us, like if you're Scott Adkins fan 70, you can write us bmf@bmfcast.com. or just go to bmfcast.com. You can find everything there. Discord, socials, all that stuff. It's all
Yep.
there. And if you want to call 910-5JACKS-BMF, 910-556-9263. Call now. Say hello to the Garfield phone and us.
Yes.
You'll get right through. There's no wait time.
Always available.
Yeah, there's no increased wait time for any reason.
Your call
Always
is very
open.
important to us.
Good.
You do not have to continue to hold. You can just leave a message as soon as you call.
Yeah.
Well, after the little recording. It's very brief.
Right. People used to call us from trucks. You should do that again.
Or trains. Or
Yeah,
wherever.
trucks, trains, all those things.
Just,
Planes, trains, automobiles.
practice social distancing, best you can from whatever moving vehicle you're on.
Yeah, get in the truck.
All those things.
Yeah. Let's get out of here, shall we?
I'm
Harlow.
Mackie.
I'm Chuck. And this is Bamcast Out.
Yay!
Yes, Chuck did it.
Yay! Super
Chuck, you have a
duper.
question about that Little Woman song.
Oh,
Where did that come from? Did that? Man, I wish you hadn't blocked that guy's comments just because I want to see if he kept coming back.
I think that guy bailed.
What? What?
Guy was a dick.
What did I miss here?
When I betrayed that man.
Yeah, I didn't really understand that then. I don't understand it now.
Because I posted a random thing and a video game thing. That means I betrayed all the horror people by not using my time to review horror movies, even though I don't do that anymore. So I betrayed him. I ruined all of YouTube for him. I betrayed him.
See, I didn't get the context, so.
Yeah, he was fed up with this world.
He was, yes.
All right, I'm stopping my recording, by the way.
Yeah, me too. I'm going to stop my recording.
Gonna export to wave.
Export. Export. Export.
BMFQVH007 in the hopes that we get to episode 100 of
100.
Quarantine. You know what? If things keep up, that's a possibility, man.
Sure is. Sure is. All right. I saved my file.
All right. Mel,
All right.
I'm going to go to sleep.
All right, dude.
You guys have a good evening.
Pet that dog.
I wish I could tilt the computer over. She's already she found the bed in the corner and she's just curled up and snoozing in it now. She's like, I'm sick of waiting for you. I'm going to sleep.
Awesome.
I didn't eat dinner either, so screw you. She's like a little kid.
Yeah. She showed you.
Yep. All right, man. I'll see you guys.